What's going on, guys? In this video, I'll be showing you guys a step-by-step guide on how to defeat Zairos in hard mode. I'll be showing you guys the easiest method on how to down this boss, including the point of view or perspective while fighting the ice boss as well as the fire boss. This way, it'll help you guys know what to do if you're assigned to the ice boss or the fire boss, what mechanics they will do. And ultimately, I'll be showing you guys how to defeat the fire and ice boss combined into one in phase 2, so let's get straight into it. Alright, let's start with the raid positioning as well as compositions. You want to have party 1 on the ice boss and party 2 on the fire boss. Each group will have 1 tank, 1 healer, and 4 DPS. So you want to start off by both tanks pulling the bosses at the same time. You want to keep track of both bosses' HP. You want to make sure both bosses' health go down at the same time, so best to have like a raid leader or a shot caller to call it out. For example, if the fire boss HP is going down too fast, you want to be saying that fire team slow down DPS or something like that. Alright, now let's look at the fire boss mechanic and what to expect from this boss. Firstly, he's gonna put this donut shape on the floor just one time, and there's gonna be one safe spot. The safe spot is going to be random, and you have to move accordingly to that safe spot. Otherwise, you'll get hit by this explosion in about 1 to 2 seconds. The next fire boss ability that you want to be paying attention to, the boss is going to be placing these small circles on the ground. You want to be moving away from these circles immediately, otherwise you'll take massive damage as well as ticking damage, and also you get knocked up in the air. If you pay attention closely, it'll be multiple circles on the floor followed by explosion, and then it'll be another set of circles on the floor followed by another explosion, and then another set of circle on the floor followed by the last explosion. It's going to be 3 times. Alright, the next one is the meteor ability. You'll see this fire icon on top of your player's head. When you see this, you want to be moving immediately and also avoid other players. This is because the person with the fire icon is going to get hit by multiple meteors that will leave like a lava trail on the floor. So once again, move immediately and avoid other players. At the start, after pulling this boss, the boss will perform one of these random abilities followed by his fury attacks where you have to perform the Q block. So the easiest way to block his fury attacks will be to hold Q block the first time you see the purple circle. And then you have to press Q one time to reset the block so you can hold Q block again when the boss casts the second fury attack with the purple circle. So here's how it's gonna play out. In slow motion, just hold Q to block the initial fury attack, and then you have to press Q again to reset, and then hold Q to block the boss's second fury attack. Alright, now let's talk about the ice boss. The ice boss blocking pattern is a little bit different. Then the fire boss is much faster, so you just have to tap the Q much faster. Just hold block on the first one and then quickly tap Q to reset it and then press Q again to block the second fury attack. As for the ice boss mechanics, you just have to avoid this blue lines on the floor. If you get hit, you'll get frozen and you'll take massive damage and you won't be able to Q block. Another mechanic is that you'll see this blue circle on your feet. There'll be a number on top of your head, so in this case it's 3, so you need 3 people to enter this blue circle. Alright, another important mechanic in phase 1 is the Tether Mechanic. An easy way is to remember the percentage of this boss. You want to remember 75%, 50%, 30%, and also 10%. So at 75, 30, and also 10, the boss will cast Tether. And at 50%, you have to break the ice boss's shield, which I'm going to explain to you guys later. So during the Tether phase, you want to be marking a spot in the middle of the room where everyone will be grouping up. You want to make sure that you wait for the Tether line to appear before going to this middle location. Make sure that you don't leave your hexagon before you see the Tether line. Once you see these lines, you want to move immediately to the marked location because a player from the ice boss is going to be tethered with a player from the fire boss. And they have to meet each other in the middle to actually remove this tether line. If you don't do this, the person with the tether not being removed will unfortunately be dead. So after all of the tether lines are removed, you want to be going back to your original spot. If you're fire, go to the fire boss. If you're in the ice group, go to the ice boss. Tanks will have to reset their stacks as well. So tanks, you want to be pointing the boss away from the marked location where your raid members are while you're resetting your stacks. Alright, when the ice boss hits 50%, you'll see this message Zairos begins to pull cold energy around it. You want everyone from the fire team except the tank and the healer to go to the ice boss and start DPSing the ice boss shield. You don't have to use Guardian for this phase, you can use Remedy if you want, or you can assign 1 to 2 players to use Guardian, and the rest of the players use Guardian in phase 2. Alright, once the ice shield is broken, the fire team just have to go back to the fire boss. You want to be paying attention to both bosses' health, start calling out which team to slow their DPS. Alright, next, these two bosses will do random abilities, followed by the fury attacks where you have to block. And at 30% is going to be a Tether phase, followed by 10% another Tether phase, before you guys will take down these two bosses at the same time. Alright, now it's phase 2 where the fire and ice boss are merged into one. As for the positioning, you want to be tanking the boss in the middle of the room in between these two hexagons. You want one of the tank to face the boss towards the entrance and another tank will be getting ready to taunt the boss and face towards the opposite side away from the entrance. And the boss will have a frontal damage, so you want to make sure that you don't face the boss towards left or right where your group members are. So the DPS and the healers will remain on their side of the hexagon. You don't have to swap sides. This is because when one of the tanks taunt, it will actually swap the boss's side from fire to ice to fire, so you don't have to actually move. So for example, if the fire team stacks are too high, you want to perform a tank switch, which will actually switch the side of the boss and will eventually reset the stacks. So both tanks, just pay attention to your group's stacks. If they get too high, just taunt off each other. Alright, another tip is to hold your DPS. Everyone just do normal attack until the boss hits like 90%. This is because you want to reset your Roen's ability. I think you use it the first time to break the shield. So you want to make sure that this ability hits at least 50% before you start DPSing the boss. Once the boss's HP reach 90%, you can now start your normal rotation, use your abilities on the boss, and the boss will combine both ice and fire abilities like you did in phase 1. So just pay attention to the ground. You want to avoid the ice lines, the meteors, the red circles on the floor, the blue circles with the number 3, and you have to have 3 people inside of it. So just avoid those mechanics, and you want to DPS the boss until the boss HP reach 60%. At 60%, you'll see this Tether that will link players from the fire team to the ice team. These Tether lines will go through the boss. So the mechanic is at 60%, the boss will do the fist mechanic. So everyone does not have to move to the opposite side. If you got the red line Tether, you just have to move closer to the boss and perform a perfect block once. The reason we do it once is because let's say you're in the fire team and the person on the ice team that is tethered to you, if they didn't block or they blocked twice instead of once, both of you will die. So it's easy to track from the chat log. You can always scroll up your chat log and see who died at the same time. So as you can see here, I did a perfect block once and then go to the middle spot where everyone is supposed to go to, where we drop the fountain and also cleanse everyone there. And then either the ice wave or fire wave will come. As I said earlier, if let's say you block once, your link Tether person blocked twice or didn't block at all, you won't get the shield and you'll get one shot by this ice or fire wave. You used to be able to block this ice or fire wave just by holding block, but AGS and NCSoft already removed this. You can no longer block this ice or fire wave. You just have to do the mechanic correctly, which means the person on the fire team has to block once, and the person being tethered to you have to block once as well. If you decided to do blocking twice, which is way harder, both link or tethered person have to actually block twice. So it's unfortunate that me and the other person tethered to didn't sync our block correctly. and both of us ended up dying, and some other people ended up dying as well. So that's all the mechanic for this boss. You just have to keep moving and avoiding things on the floor, especially the meteors. You want to bring them away from the raid. And one more important mechanic is the orbs. You see these orbs spawning on the floor. The best way to counter this is to use Roen's ability. As I said earlier, we stop DPS at the start of phase 2 to have the cooldown of this Roen's ability back. So as you can see here, when the orbs spawn, you just use this ability which will one-shot all the orbs, so you can basically skip all this orbs mechanic and continue DPSing the boss. As well as keep doing the mechanic, reset stacks by the tanks taunting, avoid stuff on the ground, and you don't have to worry about the waves as well, because the shield that you get from the Tether will last for a couple of waves until the next feast phase, where the boss will stomp the feast on the ground as well. You have to do the same mechanic, block once, and make sure that your Tethered partner block once as well. So you'll get this shield that will help you survive the ice or fire wave. That wraps up to this video. Don't forget to hit that like and also subscribe. As always, this is your regular adventurer Kasum to help you guys out. Peace out.